Everyone, let's dive right into today's explainer. We're looking at something I call the architecture of momentum. We're going to deeply deconstruct a super brief, intense, and, honestly, profoundly motivating microsource on human achievement. Sometimes the absolute game-changing ideas out there, they don't need hundreds of pages or a 3-hour lecture to hit home. Sometimes just a handful of carefully chosen words can give us an entire blueprint for how we operate, how we overcome, and how we actually succeed. So we're looking at a literal distillation of momentum today. Let's get right into it.
Your present effort shapes your future success. Keep pushing, stay focused, and turn every obstacle into an opportunity. Move forward. Right? Okay, so what's absolutely fascinating here is how these exact sentences contain an entire operational blueprint for resilience. It's incredibly brief, but there is zero wasted space here. We're going to break this down word for word because every single phrase is doing some serious heavy lifting. This isn't just, a nice motivational thought to put on a poster. It's a literal operational guide.
Moving to Section 1, the present shapes the future. Let's take a look at this causal link between now and tomorrow. So look at this dichotomy we're dealing with. On one hand, you've got present effort, that's the immediate, and let's be real, often super uncomfortable action happening right now. And on the other hand, you've got future success, the delayed, desired outcome. Notice how the source doesn't just passively promise that future success is going to magically show up at your doorstep. No way. It actively anchors it as a direct causal result of your present effort. It's a strict transaction. That word shapes is doing so much work here. It implies craftsmanship, almost like you're a sculptor. You aren't just sitting around waiting for the future to happen to you. You're physically molding it with what you are doing in this exact moment. So the crucial takeaway, there's absolutely no disconnect. If you want that future success, you literally have to own the present effort.
And that brings us right into Section 2, the directives of momentum. This is all about taking control of the process.
Notice how cleanly the source lays out these 3 sequential steps. It actually guides us through an escalation of human effort. Step 1, keep pushing. Pure, sheer physical perseverance. It's that baseline requirement of just, flat out refusing to stop when things get tough. But as we all know, brute force alone isn't enough, which is exactly why it moves to Step 2, stay focused. This elevates your effort into concentrated mental focus. So now you're pushing, but you're pushing with direction and intent, keeping your eyes completely locked on the target. And then, finally, we arrive at Step 3, turn every obstacle into an opportunity. This right here, this is where we reach strategic cognitive reframing. You've gone from physical action up to mental focus, and finally to psychological alchemy, literally taking something negative and forcing it to work in your favor. It's just a brilliantly strategic progression.
Which leads perfectly into Section 3. Obstacles as opportunities. This is where we reframe that inevitable friction.
Just look at how we can completely redefine this word based on our source material. An obstacle is strictly a precursor to an opportunity. It is raw material to be transformed for momentum. I absolutely love that. This definition captures exactly how the source forces us to reevaluate roadblocks. Think about it for a second. Most people view an obstacle as a glaring red stop sign, right? Or a signal that they've messed up and are on the wrong path. But this framework we're deconstructing today, it demands that you see obstacles not as reasons to stop, but merely as disguised stepping stones that are literally required for your growth. It's just raw material. The friction isn't getting in the way of the process, the friction actually is the process. When you truly internalize this, you become virtually unstoppable, because the exact things that were meant to derail you are now being thrown into the engine as fuel to accelerate your momentum.
Okay, final section. Section 4, the mandate to move forward. This is the ultimate conclusion of the whole framework. Move forward. With just 2 stark, declarative words, the source cuts through all the complexity, all the messy overthinking we all do, and it just commands us to execute the ultimate goal. After you've put in the sweaty effort, after you've somehow maintained your focus, after you've flipped your obstacles into opportunities, well, there's really only one thing left to do, right? You don't sit still. You definitely don't wait around for permission. You just move forward. It's the natural, inescapable outcome of everything we've just unpacked today. It's action-oriented, it's definitive, and it leaves absolutely zero room for hesitation.
So reflecting on this entire causal arc of success we've looked at, I want to leave you with a direct challenge to apply in your own life right now. What present effort are you pushing through today to shape your future? The blueprint is right there in front of us. The obstacles are just sitting there waiting to be transformed. The only variable left in this whole equation is what you decide to do next. So what's it going to be?